Hello, hello, guys. Hope you are having a great day. It is a fairly warm but rainy day here in Washington, D.C. Hope you're having a great one as well. Wanted to come to you today to talk to you a little bit about a post I had posted last night, and one of my many quotes, right, that I post. And I almost added some narrative around it, but there was so much to say that I thought, you know what, I'm going to do a Facebook Live on it instead. And so that was last night I posted, expectation is the root of all heartache. And so, obviously expectations have a really good side too, right? Because when we expect things of ourselves, goals I always think of as almost like future expectations or expectations of our future. But they can be a double-edged sword, right? Because we have expectations that we have for ourselves, and that's something that we can control entirely. But we also have expectations for others, behaviors and actions, and that we can only control kind of 50% of, even that. I love expectations because I know myself and I know what I'm capable of, and I know where I want to go and what I want to do. And then when I achieve a goal, it's funny how once I achieve a goal and I achieve that expectation, suddenly the bar is higher, right? And so that's a good thing on the one hand because you keep striving and growing. But on the other hand, it can be a little bit of a burden because it can feel exhausting if you're not passionate. I think that that's where being passionate about what you're doing is really super important, because otherwise those expectations you're setting for yourself are like meaningless. So, I always try and focus on that passion and the value that I'm adding for people so that I'm feeling the connectivity. And anything that I don't feel passionate about or have energy around, then I actually make a decision to maybe that's something that's like not as big of a priority and try and change that expectation in my brain, okay? And so the other piece of expectation that I think is really difficult is that piece with other folks, because we all have relationships, right? And I know I have friends that I expect certain things of, right? Because I see them more often, or there's just a certain level of friendship, right? And then there are other people that I don't see for like 5 years, and then we're together and it's like we never were apart, and because that expectation is different, right? And so that's where things can go awry though, because if you expect certain behaviors and certain actions from those people and they're not delivering, and you've got this vision in your head in terms of what you want that to be, and it's just not what it is. And it could be, your brother, your sister, your mom, and your dad, and your best friends, or, cousins, aunts, whatever it might be. Those folks, especially when it comes to family, I think is really, really rough, because if you have an idea of what you think a mom should be or a dad should be, and that's not what you have in your life, that can drive you a little batty, right? Like if they're not delivering what you need in your life in terms of those relationships, it's really, really hard. And because whatever is in your brain is not matching reality, right? And so until you start changing what's in your brain to match a little bit better what's in reality, you're going to be pretty upset about it, right? And it can drive you bonkers, which is where I think that quote really comes into play that William Shakespeare said, because of those expectations and being the root of all heartache. You can cause yourself a lot of heartache if you are expecting things, and that picture in your brain is totally different than what is in reality. And so that's some hard work. That's not easy. I feel like it's easier for me to change sort of that inner game I was talking about before, in terms of, knowing what my priorities are and what my future goals are, and not feeling like I'm in a hamster wheel towards the road that keeps on going down the road and not really getting anywhere. Because, I know when I'm not living up to my potential. I know when I'm being lazy. I know when I have my flawed moments, whether it's just putting my keys in the freezer, or whether it's, the fact that I'm not treating somebody the way that I know I'm capable of or should, or, the way I expect myself to treat other people based on my worldview and sort of how I see my place in it. Like, that's something I can control. I can recognize my behavior and switch it. But when other folks are involved, you can't control that, right? So that's where you have to really change what's in your head in that picture and of those expectations, and really work towards letting it go. Hey, Vicki, how are you? Sorry, I just saw your comment. I'm trying to focus. So anyway, I don't know what you guys think about all this, but would love to hear your comments on expectations and maybe how you use expectations or what expectations you have. I know for me, I have a pretty high expectation of myself, and right now I'm in actually a really, really high expectation period for my performance in life. I've got a board meeting this weekend. I've got a lot of business goals that I'm really laser focused on. I've got some other consulting goals that I'm working on. So it's always challenging when you have like multiple things going on, right? But it's also really reinvigorating as well. So yeah, so it's kind of an exciting period, I think, this year for 2018. I can't complain. So anyway, would love to hear your guys' thoughts about expectations. Just drop any comments down there, and I will keep an eye on them to see when you guys watch the replay what other things you have to say, because I would love the dialogue. So hope you guys have a great night, and I'll talk to you soon.